All right. Should we jump in then, Chris?
Yep.
All right. Hi, everyone. Good to be here with you. And Chris, thank you for inviting me. And I'm filling in, I believe, a little bit for Clint while he's on vacation in Hawaii, which is incredible for him.
All
and
right.
we
Should
can
we
all be
jump in
kind
then,
of
Chris?
jealous for him a little bit.
All right. Hi, everyone. Good to
Oh, there we go.
Sorry.
Thought it's going out there, Chris. So I'm very happy to be here with you. And today's going to be kind of we might have to call an audible on a few things, because Canva, for the first time in my entire time using it, is kind of freezing a little bit. So, and I've checked online, it seems to be a global problem for Canva right now. So we'll talk a little bit about that here in a few minutes, but nice to meet you all. My name is Matt Winters. I'm from Utah Education Network. I'm a senior technical trainer. You might recognize me from Google trainings. I am also the GG Utah leader, with Kelly, co-leader with Kelly Cannon. And I'm just super excited to be here with you today to talk Canva, talk about graphic design, talk about how to kind of make your classroom even more beautiful online than it already is. So we'll see how it goes today. Again, we're having Canva's experiencing some global issues, so we'll see how it goes today. As you can see on here, it's go.uen.org/b, uppercase U, lowercase h. You can jump on there. And then we are recording this on YouTube, so you can watch this later, share it out with your teammates, those sorts of things. Chris, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yep. I'm Chris from SEDC. You guys all know me. And I did put the links in the chat as well. And so I was going to use this segue to introduce Matt, but he's already done that. So Matt, if you want to go to the next slide, we'll have your digital details in there. There we go.
Awesome. And there's my email. And I'm also a huge tweeter. I love tweeting on Twitter, so feel free to follow me there. I'm also on Instagram under basically the same name. It's Teacher Winners Utah, but I am terrible at Instagram, so don't judge me when you get on there and you see like a photo from like 6 months ago on there, because that's about where I'm at. Awesome. So today we're talking about Canva, which is this amazing social. It started out, I don't know, Chris, I started using it because of Twitter and building like really pretty posts to send out on Twitter. When did you start using Canva?
I started using when I was designing websites years ago, and we were getting a bunch of contractors actually were starting to use social media. So we were using it to create the right graphics for Facebook and social media for advertising.
Yeah, and that's kind of where this kind of built as a tool. Was Canva was meant and designed for social media use and to help people build attractive looking, beautiful posts for clients, for their team, for their company, those sorts of things. And it's been around for a few years, about 5-6 years. They're based out of Sydney, Australia, which I found out recently, which is kind of cool. And basically what Canva is I consider it to be a Swiss Army knife of design for K-12 classrooms. They've recently, since before, like just right before the pandemic, they started adjusting into helping out with K-12 classrooms and making sure that those classrooms were supported with their tool set rather than having to pay for it. And so with that adjustment, any teacher can apply for a free Canva account and get it and use it in their classroom. And it's completely open and free now. All they ask is that you, again, sign up, and we'll show you how to do that here in a few minutes. With that said, then it opens up a whole world of design options for teachers to build really beautiful things. And one of my favorite things about Canva, going back to the Swiss Army knife, is that it kind of holds your hand through the design process, in that it shows you some of the things that might look good with a particular design, maybe particular colors or particular graphics, or maybe a design choice. And then it lets you build into that process some really cool personalized designs. And so as we go through today, again, just a quick caveat. Today, literally in 4 or 5 years of Canva usage, this is the first time I've experienced a downage. Of course, it's the day I'm presenting on it. But so if you go and try it out today, you might hit some roadblocks with it, but know that hopefully by tomorrow it's picked back up and ready to go. And we'll see how much we can get into actually showing the app off.
And one thing I wanted to add, Matt, one thing I
Please.
love about Canva is somebody who prints posters for teachers.
Mm,
And we're going to cover that next week. We're going to talk about the poster printing that we do. But I get images from teachers all the time that I have to try and resize to print them in the right size. And have you ever seen a social image post that part of it's cut off or it just doesn't fit in the space? In Canva, it gives you the right size of what you need. Do you want a Facebook ad, or do you want a poster, or do you want this? And with the premium version, you can resize those really easy. So then you can get the exact right size so it fits in that spot, and you don't have to constrain it so then it screws the picture all up, but you have the perfect right side. That's probably one of my most favorite features.
absolutely. And we're going to make sure if we can, we're going to show that. I just actually, they finally logged me in after 10 minutes of waiting. So I'm very excited about that. We'll see how it goes. But I agree with you, Chris. One of my favorite things about Canva, and we'll show this, is that if you need a particular design for a particular space, and thinking about education, a lot of teachers in the state of Utah use Google Classroom. A lot of teachers use Canvas, and finding the right size banner or button or design shape for that can be kind of tedious going out and doing a Google search. Canva takes the guesswork out of that. So you can say, I want a Google Classroom banner or a Canvas banner, and it will actually give you the right size, and then you can start building it. It's pretty great as you walk through. So with that said, let's just move on to a couple of the big tools and topics here. Again, it's a graphic design, and it's also shifted over the last year or two during the pandemic into being a presentation tool. And I'm hoping to show some of that over the next couple of minutes. We'll see how good the app is. The presentation tool is pretty incredible in that it has some pre-programmed buttons into the presentation tool where you can press any of the number buttons and it'll put a timer up on your screen. You can press the Q button during a presentation and it'll go shh, which I think is just fantastic. It'll do confetti. There's some really cool add-ons here that hopefully we'll get to see over the next couple minutes.
Oh, I had not seen those.
You haven't seen those?
No? Well, that'll be cool.
Hopefully we can get in there, and again, hopefully it doesn't stop us here. But one of my favorite things I just learned is that if you take a Google slide deck, put it so that anyone can view it on the web, and copy the URL for it, if you paste that URL into a Canva slide deck, it will actually copy the slide deck from Google onto the Canva slide deck.
Wow.
It's incredible. Some of the things they add on there, I've been really impressed with over the last couple of years, because it takes the guesswork out, which is so much fun.
I love that these companies are making it easier for teachers to gather this content and share it and move it to different places. I remember that time of downloading and uploading and file sizes. It just made things so difficult. This is nice.
Yeah, absolutely. It's kind of, I know you've either done or you're going to do a video on Adobe Creative Cloud Express, correct?
Yeah, I think Clint's got one of those coming up.
Yeah, and it's the new extension of what Spark was. Right. And it's the same thing. They're trying to be kind of the Swiss Army knife for educators. And I really deeply appreciate that, because the less apps I have to log into in the day, I think is the better. I think most of us can agree with that. All right, a couple other things here. We've already talked about personalized, beautiful graphics for your classroom or learning management systems, some beautiful presentations with some pretty sweet built-in materials. One of the nice things when you do get a K-12 free account is that it unlocks their entire photo library, their graphics library, basically anything that they have on Canva you can use for free instead of having to pay for I think it was like $9 or $10 a month. And so it's a great value for you as a teacher to build it to get on your own. And we'll look at those here in just a few minutes. The other thing that you can do is, if you have a team at your school, you can create a Canva team and everyone can work together collaboratively on a same design. But also you can do that concurrently together on the same slide deck. So it's just like working on Google Slides. You can have your entire team working on the same design to build it, refine it, make it look even better, or different pages of the same design. Perhaps my favorite thing, and I hope you know about this, Chris, one of my favorite things is that any Canva design can be templated out, and then anyone can click that link and have a template. It's kind of like a forced copy on Google Slides. So if you make a beautiful design and you want to share it with your class teacher across the classrooms or across the school or even in the district, all you have to do is change one little link, and we'll look at that here in just a second.
So Matt, why not just use Google Slides if it's just the same? What's so big about Canva then if it's just like Google Slides?
Absolutely. I think the biggest thing is that it's got this amazing proprietary library of design options. Beyond that, it also has so many add-ons like QR codes and videos and audio work that you can plug in. And it's meant to be a design tool, not a presentation tool, whereas Slides is meant to be a presentation tool that people often use as a design tool. And so it's all on that what it's actually used for and what its purpose was originally. And I think Canva, for me, edges out a little bit in terms of how beautiful things can look and how creative they can look versus Slide Deck, where they edge out a little bit more with shareability and presentation. That makes sense.
Yep, more content creation type stuff,
Exactly.
More things to choose from. I like that. Yeah, I love doing like the memes. I've done this with kids, creating memes and social kind of posters. Yeah, I agree.
Absolutely. Well, I'm gonna leave the slide deck for just a second. I'm gonna move over this link that's right here. If you want to click on that with me, folks, or Chris has gratefully put it into the chat as well. It's the first link there, Canva for Education free accounts. That will take you to this page. To sign up for a free account, you can just sign up with your Google account or whatever login you'd like, but that will give you the limited account, which doesn't have everything available to you. To do this one, you just go to canva.com/education, sign up now. It's going to ask you some basic questions about your background as a teacher. It's going to ask for some proof of what you do where you are at as an educator. When I did it about 6 months ago, it asked for my ID card, a picture of my ID card from my school. That didn't take me very much time to take that picture and send it off. So pretty straightforward, simple to do it. And then if you're looking for some great trainings on it, this page as well kind of walks you through that process. So that's where I would start if you are brand new to Canva, is jump in with looking at Canva for EDU and look at some of the options here that they have for you and what kind of things that you can build off of. And you can already kind of start to see, without even me showing you my screen, my Canva account, the diversity of things that you can build in here and the diversity of projects that you can create pretty easily as well. Anything to add, Chris?
Can students create accounts? Students under 13, what's the rule on that?
Students can create accounts. As far as I know, Canva hasn't done anything in the state of Utah with data privacy, though. Okay. So that would be definitely something to check out before you ask students to apply for a Canva account. But I will say that if you were to use it only for just you as a teacher to build things, this is a great advantage for you as a teacher.
Yeah, so I agree.
That I personally only used it with myself. I never gave it to my students, and I still in a classroom found tons and tons and tons of ways to use it for myself.
And I think for students, using the Adobe Express is probably the best way to stick with.
Absolutely. And you're going to get a lot of value out of Adobe Creative Cloud Express as well. All right. With that said, I'm going to pull in my account really quick. And again, we'll see how it goes over the next couple of minutes sharing this out. But I think we'll be able to do a couple things. So this is what it looks like when you log in. You're going to see over here in the top left, your teams. So right here, I have two different teams. I'm part of Emma Moss for GG Utah's team. And then I have my own. I can add somebody to that and share things with them across the board in there, just like I would in Google. In the main section here, what do you want to create today? They ask you that every single time. What are you trying to build? And you can go ahead and click on the search bar here and search a particular size or a particular type of document and see if they have that for you. Or if you already kind of know you want to do like a presentation or an infographic or a classroom poster, you can go ahead and click any of these and it'll just go ahead and build you a brand new design, which is really great. Or you can click over and click on any of these and see what's available to you. I usually go up to the top right though and click create design. and then type in what I would like to build. So like, for instance, click create design. And let's say that I wanted to do a canvas header. It's going to load up, and this is where it might get a little bit slow. It's going to load up here and tell me, oh, hey, I know that there's a, for instance, I know there's a canvas banner, and I know there's canvas button templates that they have. So I could click either one of those and get one really, really quickly, or I could click any of the ones that are already available to me on this homepage as well. If I'd like a custom size, like for instance, like an 8.5 by 11 inch sheet of paper, I can go ahead and click custom size, put that in by pixel, inch, millimeter, or centimeter. And then on top of that, I can go ahead and edit photos or import files as well. Down below, you're going to find all of your recent designs, and here all the designs that I have been working with over the last couple of months, things that I've been building and things that I've been working on. And they all just kind of stay there statically as you build. And as you grab one of them and open it up, it brings it back up to the front because it thinks, hey, you're using this. You're going to probably want to have access to this as quickly as possible. Anything to add on the homepage, Chris?
I think you covered all that. I love having the recent stuff pop up to the top. So when I'm working on stuff, I can go back and look at it, but having it archived too, it's nice to be able to go back. Because I think next year, when you're when you're teaching the same thing again, you can go back and reuse that stuff and maybe just modify. You don't have to recreate the wheel. So it's nice to have that stuff archived all in one spot.
Absolutely. One of my favorite things to do is, like, for instance, if I make, let's say, a Google Classroom banner, and I want to refresh that, instead of creating a brand new design, I just go find my old Google Classroom banner that I made and just add a new page on it. And that really helps me out as I move forward. So really, really fun to see that archive and work with it. All right, I'm going to go ahead and try and open the design. We're going to put our fingers crossed. I'm going to go with this one. This is my puppies, which you might hear in the background here. We'll see if this loads up. I wanted to make a Valentine's Day card with my dogs on it to send out to people, and I decided to build it. We'll see if that loads here in a second. But one thing with any of these designs, again, you got the shareable link. You can go ahead and make copies. You can move to different folders. You can download. And what's great is that when you say download, Canva downloads in a lot of different formats. So you might be able to download your image in a PNG or a JPEG or a PDF, which are all pretty common. But let's say that you do make a design that moves. So things are moving in the design. You have a video in the background, or you have moving objects kind of maybe moving through, like lines or something like that. That will actually download as a GIF as well, or as a video. So you can download a lot of different things. I've made some great introductions for past videos on Canva. And then I've also made some great educational GIFs on Canva as well. So lots of different things that you can work with on there as well. And unfortunately, Canva is saying it's unavailable for design work right there. So sorry about that, folks. I can't show you the interface, but what I'm going to do is go back to this page. And I just want to show you this little GIF down here in the corner. I'm going to pause it for just a second. This gives you actually a good idea of what Canva looks like when you're designing. So over here on the left-hand side, and I'm going to see, did I pull that up? Just a second. Oh, I did not. Okay. I'm going to zoom in just a bit so we can get that a little bit clearer. Is that right? Nope, nope. Did I make it too big? There we go. Oh, too far down. Oh my goodness, it just disappeared on me, folks. Maybe.
So I wonder if we're in different time zones or something, because mine's loading. It's slow, but it seems to be loading.
Do you want to switch over to your page then?
Yeah,
I'm going to stop and share really quick. Go ahead and share. I do apologize for that, folks. It seems like the world is against me today on Canva.
Let me. Can you see that?
Perfect.
Yeah.
That
so
looks great.
Yeah, so this is a project that I did recently, and so this was from the Ed Chat that we did. So I had designed all these, and what I really liked, we had to do multiple ones, so you could just duplicate it really easy. But I wanted to show you some of the elements of what Matt was talking about to be able to add things. So you have all the templates that you can choose from. So these are just kind of different sizes and templates. So you could choose a template and you could choose anything and it's already got everything already made, or you could just design from scratch and it has all of these pictures that you can just add right into. You can also upload all of your own photos that you could use. It has all of these photos that you could use as well. It has text. So what I like too, because I am not creative, you tell me exactly what you want and I can make it, but to get creative, it just takes me forever to try and analysis by paralysis, right? I just get stuck on fonts but here you can just, all you do is click and it just goes and changes it and puts it in any font. And then when you're in changing the fonts, you have all these controls up here that you can change the sizes and the colors, and you can just edit everything that you want. You can change the backgrounds to all different types. And then there's all sorts of different things that you can add to it. And then Matt had shared that, let me go back and see if I can find it again, because I haven't used those templates. So shared with me, let's see. Yep, there's that album review template that you shared. Now I have not used these, Matt. So what is this about?
So when someone shares something with you, or if you template it out, you can go ahead and make a copy of it. So if you make a copy of it, it opens up Canva and you're able to start editing. So what's great about this is now this is yours, Chris. You can start building with it. And it will tell you, like, for instance, right there in the middle, it has that little watermark on the album art area. So you're not on an educational account, Chris, or whatever's happening there. So you might get a watermark on certain objects. You can always change those out. That's not a big deal. How you do this though, so let's say that you make a great design for your school and you want to share it and let other teachers maybe try it out or edit it in some way. All you have to do is go up to the top where it says share. And then in that drop down where it says share link to edit, down at the bottom, Chris, yep. Share a link to use as a template. And then you can give that link to anyone on the web or anyone in email. They will get an email. It's like a force copy link on Google. And so it's one of my favorite features because now I can make really, really great designs and then I can share them out with whoever I want as well.
That's cool.
One other thing I want to show really quick, Chris, if you go click more for me, I think this is going to be really helpful for a lot of teachers. It's down the bottom on the left-hand margin there. It says more underneath background. Perfect. On here as well, I just wanted to point this out really quickly, is that they do connect with a lot of other apps. So one of my favorite ones is that they actually have a QR code generator built in, and you can program that QR code generator to any URL out there. So you can send students to a specific spot for a breakout room or for classroom lessons, those sorts of things. But if you also click more again for me, Chris, there's also Bitmojis. There's Giphy, there's Google Maps, there's all sorts of stuff that you can jump in with, which is incredible. One of my favorite things to do, I'm just going to show. Oh, go ahead, Chris.
No, I just saying, wow, go ahead.
I just wanted to show, can I share my screen really quick, Chris?
Let me stop sharing.
You're good. So let's say that you do make a great design, but you want your students to make a template. Well, we can pull that design and we can put it into a Google slide deck or anywhere else as well. So you guys saw that record template that Chris was working with. I went ahead and took that template and plugged it in to a Google slide deck via the theme builder. And I just copied and pasted that image on top. And now my students are able to take that template and use that same design, that object inside a Google slide deck. Could do the same thing by clicking background on any slide and going ahead and uploading your image to it. So there's some really cool things that you can do, kind of app smashing both slides and Canva together as they work. So that's one of my favorite parts about Canva, is that it's a very flexible app that you can work with and do some really cool things with. And once Canva gets going for everyone, that album review template is right here. Feel free to borrow it, template it out, use it however you'd like. I just really love music, if you can't tell by the CDs behind me. And it was one of the first things that came to mind as a design offer here. And that's Canva in a nutshell. Anything else to add, Chris?
I think you covered it. I've never really used templates. I think that's awesome. And I have two emails at SEDC, one Chris and Chris H. And so that one was on my other one. That's why I didn't have the my education free one is on the other one. So I'm always having that struggle with my emails. So
Gotcha.
that's why it showed up that way. But yeah, I've got those links in the chat, and I'll throw the other ones in if you want to advance that, because we've got about 5 minutes left. Anybody have any questions? So that must mean Matt covered it very well, because either they're overwhelmed or they're thoroughly taught, right?
Yep. I will say it looks super overwhelming to start off with, but once you get using it, it gets easier and easier and easier to use it.
Yeah.
I am, like Chris said earlier, I am not a graphic designer and I have a hard time building cool things. But that album review template that I sent out, I started from scratch at about 11 a.m. one day. And by about 11:30, that was done. It was on a slide deck. It was ready to template out. So it doesn't take as long as you think. And Canva really adds some great suggestions for you to work with it. So very much recommended.
I love it because you don't have to design. You can just click on those and it pops it right into it. And then you can drag it around and drop it. That's awesome. So Matt, since you've got control, would you just kind of advance through these? Mm-hmm. So next month or next week, Clint will be back and he's going to talk about custom posters. So anybody that has takes some time and does some Canva stuff and makes a poster, if they want to share it with Clint, then we'll talk about how we could print that up and you could have a really nice classroom poster in your classroom for that. And we'll print it up for you. So Clint will talk about that. So join us then. Next slide. And so Matt might want to talk about this one, because Matt, who made this poster here? This wasn't one of yours. This was one of your team though, right? Or you set poster?
Yeah, Cody from Washington School District made this one. I made the Strand one, which is kind of fun. Yeah, USET is open. It's in person and online, and record sessions will be offered. You can do a 2-day digital pass and you'll get all the keynotes and the spotlight sessions, which is, I think, somewhere in the range of 40 to 50 presentations that you can watch on demand, which is cool. Or you can come join us at UVCC in Provo and be live and go to the Ghoul Room or see Chris on the main stage, talk about Scribble or any number of things, which will be really fun. So that's on March 15th and 16th, coming up 1 month from today. So I'm starting to sweat a little bit on that one. I don't know about you.
No, Matt will be sweating next year when he's the USET president and he'll be in charge of the conference. So yeah, he's the president-elect this year. So yeah, it'll be a lot of fun. USET's always a blast because it's just a great group and we'll be in person and just a great group of educators. So I hope you guys have all registered. Hope we can see everybody up there. Okay. Well, we did have one comment. They do have a sample parental consent. Thank you, Amanda. We still should have, though, just a warning, though, if you are having students using something like that, you need to have that listed on your student data privacy. So you need to talk to Drake, would be the one to talk to for you Millard folks. Okay. And Matt, he's very active in the UTED chat, happens every night. Tonight, Kayla Towner from UEN, who I love, she's been awesome. She's going to talk about blended learning models. And I think that's going to be an awesome topic. That's a lot about what we've been talking about. How do we take this stuff we learn in Canva, all these other things that we're learning, and how can we blend it to have kids be engaged and active and creators of content rather than just consumers? So how can we blend things together instead of just, pushing things out? What can we do? Anything you can add to that, Matt?
Yeah, absolutely. I just want to say it's actually tomorrow, Chris. Today's Tuesday.
Oh yeah, today's Tuesday. Sorry.
So make sure you come out Tuesday or Wednesday night.
Wednesday.
It is a great place to meet other educators from around the state of Utah and just work with them and do really cool things as a teacher. It's one of the places where I started making connections statewide, and I would definitely recommend it. Kayla's she's always a great moderator. Yeah. So I'm excited for that tomorrow night.
We did our tech talk was 2 weeks ago, I think, with Jared, and he taught us how to do TED Talk, Ed Chats. So he gave us some clues. So hopefully this team, this crew here will be on the Ed Chat next week or tomorrow. Okay.
Very cool.
Next one. Okay, and again, Matthew just seems to be everywhere. Matthew, want to tell us about the Homeroom podcast?
Yeah, absolutely. And we're UEN Homeroom. It's a podcast Danny Sloan and I have done, or that we do every 2 weeks. New episode is coming out, I believe, this week. It's we cover a range of topics and a range of different things. This week, it's actually the keynotes. Corey Henwood and Mike Roberts are the keynotes for USET. Will be on the podcast talking about USET. We've had wonderful guests over the last couple of months, so come join us on there. There's also, I just got to do a shout out, USET has a podcast called the USET Podcast, and the Utah Teacher Fellows also have a podcast that we're helping to promote, so definitely check those out as well.
We need to get those listed in. Okay, I think there's one more. Okay, don't forget to sign the roll, and the recording will be posted. I don't have access to Clint's Midas, so he'll post all the Midas credits as long as you sign the roll. He'll post those when he gets back. Okay, I think the next one's the last one. Oh, there we go. And Clint will be back next week. Look at that picture I snagged off of his Facebook account. He is having an awesome time in Hawaii. And with his lovely wife, Kelly, he's been out snorkeling and having fun and just enjoying life and having his best life. So we thank Clint. We hope he's having a good time, and he will be back next week. And we hope to see y'all then. Okay, I'm going to go ahead